Tuesday. Happy April 1st, and thanks for joining us today. I'm Jen Carfagno.
And I'm Larosa. Over the next few hours, we are going to get you prepared for some potentially dangerous storms that will fire up today.
We've got many states on alert.
In terms of the specific severe threats, whether it's the hail and damaging winds or maybe even that tornado threat. For you, Minneapolis, you've definitely got the gusty winds and the heavy rainfall, maybe some hail. That lightning and thunder is going to be arriving, we think, just in time for that evening rush. Through the evening rush after dinner, it does look like that main line is going to be out of the area by midnight. We know the ingredients are there. You sort of have this severe weather checklist, and we've got a lot of them going today. You have the warmth and the moisture that's being pulled up to the north with that area of low pressure, that system dragging that cold front. But you also have that sustained low-level jet that's just enough to add a little bit of that wind shear that takes that lift up a few notches here, and that's when you can get some of those bigger thunderstorms. Not to mention the upper-level jet stream. We've got the energy from that to work with as well, and it's all coming together over some of these areas. Let's get specific. Let's start talking time and watch the clock. You've got 11 a.m. Central Time. Where are you on this map? What are you doing throughout the day, and how this is going to affect your, say, lunch hour? Well, so far so good. Kansas City will give a heads up, central Missouri by the dinner hour, but we do have that line starting to take shape here in parts of Nebraska, moving into Iowa, and there you see Minneapolis by 9 o'clock. Most of the heaviest action is past you, not quite in your area, Des Moines, as we get towards the midnight hour, and then you have that complex coming through central Illinois by tomorrow morning, so we'll give a heads up for some leftovers there on the western suburbs of Chicago for the morning drive. So Omaha, timing for you, you've got the warm sunshine, breezy conditions all the way up to 81 degrees by 5 o'clock, but it's after the evening rush, after dinner, Jen, that we start to see some of those showers and storms.
All right, so we have some storms to talk about, right? We have hail that we were tracking yesterday in Arkansas. And I'll tell you, so let's look at yesterday's reports. We had 169 total hail reports. About 20 of them were significant hail, hen egg size or greater. We even have reports of up to baseball size hail yesterday. There were some wind reports yesterday, but the bulk of them were hail reports, and we saw those stretching from Oklahoma all the way over into Georgia, a stretch of more than 1,000 miles. Now today we're going to expand the risk of severe weather and move it up here into parts of the northern plains, Minnesota, Iowa, Nebraska, and also down into parts of Kansas too. Missouri, we are in it. So for today, we look at the risks. Still hail and still damaging winds are going to be our main risk. But today we bring in a slight tornado risk. It's low, but it's still there. And the areas that we're watching are in eastern Nebraska. We're watching parts of western Iowa as well. So this is what we're tracking for today. There's going to be storms that bring winds that could create damage, just like a tornado might. So that's one of our concerns today, is the damaging winds. And of course, the hail threat like we saw yesterday. And it's not just today, Maria.
Exactly. So we're expanding that threat today, but also as far as timing wise, in through Thursday and Friday. So as we get into the middle part of the week, we've got to really prepare you for what's coming up, because we have so many spring breaks starting, big travel days for tomorrow and Friday for the holiday. So let's get right to it. Let's heads up Tulsa, Oklahoma first. As you get from Thursday into Thursday night, threats here, definitely large hail and those damaging winds, but there's also a chance of a tornado. And that threat looks to be more of an overnight. And we always say you got to have a way to get warnings, but more so with that overnight threat, because you know you're sleeping, you're just not as aware if you don't have your television on. So Thursday, again, those ingredients are there. We see that warmth and that moisture. It's even more so than today. So we have higher dew points, a lot more of that deep moisture, and you still have that disturbance, that area of low pressure that helps lift the atmosphere. But we also have a dry line developing here, and that is an extra forcing that's going to lift the atmosphere and bring out those stronger showers and thunderstorms. And sort of that extra ingredient is that very vigorous upper level jet stream that adds enough shear and enough power to those thunderstorms, where you take it up from a regular thunderstorm and now you're a hail producer or perhaps a tornado producer. So tomorrow, look at how big that threat risk is. It's all the way from Indianapolis back and through Oklahoma City, Little Rock, Memphis, Louisville. You're in on it, as well as St. Louis. Again, primary threat, damaging winds and hail, but we cannot rule out that tornado threat. In fact, the Toricon for tomorrow tomorrow, on the order of 4 out of 10. That means a 4 in 10 chance within 50 miles of these areas from eastern Oklahoma into western Arkansas, but also southeastern Kansas and southwest Missouri. So what that's telling you is you got to have a plan ready. Make sure you have a way to get those warnings if they do pop in. And then by Friday, we expanded a little bit further off to the east. So now we've got Lexington and Knoxville, as well as northwestern Georgia, Jen, Birmingham, all the way down to Jackson, and even northern Louisiana.
This is a busy week. I know a lot of folks traveling on Friday before the Easter weekend. So we'll continue giving you a heads up. It's a multi-day severe weather threat that continues with an tornado or tornadic winds are known to be some of the strongest, right? But straight line winds, damaging straight line winds can certainly do some damage.
And not to be, underestimated by any means at all. So we have this really great explainer, the difference, one being, of course, the twisting versus the straight line, but here's how they form.
All right, so, you have your thunderstorm, and you get some dry air that gets entrained into the thunderstorm in some of the mid-levels here. That dry air comes in, and it helps the rain or the water vapor that's inside the cloud evaporate a bit. So it cools down the temperature, which makes that heavier. And so it really descends from the thunderstorm very rapidly.
And as it does, it has nothing to do but hit the ground and spread out. And you often see that fanning, say, of trees in that straight line from the wind.
And it's that forward motion all in one line. And you can see that when you see sort of all trees down in one direction, that you would know is straight line wind damage. Now, if a tornado or severe thunderstorm threatens, it's important to seek shelter.
Well, coming up into Weather Center Live, thanks for watching. I'm Maria Larosa.
And I'm Jen Carfagno. We're expecting a lot more storms with lightning today. We saw them yesterday in Oklahoma. Take a look at